You already had some skill. You were already making some money. And so in June, I think you said you made just under 10 grand, right? Like 9.5. So our first full month together was August. What did you make in August?
16.2 or 16.3
Yeah,
or
so
something
that's
like
almost double. It's like 8 grand more in a month and a half.
I think the first few sessions that we had were purely like mindset, purely the beliefs that you need to have as a high performer. And so I was able to close more deals than I was before.
Welcome back to the channel. We are here with my man Zane. We have some exciting updates to go through. Zane's had a lot of progress. We've been working together for like a month and a half, barely that. It's definitely been less than 2 months. So yeah, let's dive straight in. Zane, tell the people, who are you? What do you do? What do you sell? Talk to me.
I'm Zane. I'm a high ticket closer. I sell two things right now. So I sell an AI business opportunity, an AI business builder, and I also sell a high ticket closing coaching program.
So we're on two different offers. I know the second one is fairly new. Now we're gonna dive into a lot of the details and like what we've talked about and whatnot. The thing I want to start off here with is Zane went from, and this is a cool one because it's not like you knew nothing, right? It's not like you came in and I just like completely turned everything around. You already had some skill. You were already making some money. And so in June, I think you said you made just under 10 grand, right? Like 9.5. And
Yeah.
what did you make? So our first full month together was August. What did you make in August?
16.2 or 16.3
Yeah,
or
so
something
that's
like
almost double, not exactly double. It's like 8 grand more in a month and a half. Cool part about you is we didn't dive too. We did a little bit of the tactical stuff, and we're still working on the tactical stuff. But we worked on a lot of the inner game, which a lot of reps tend to forget about, right? So tell me, like, before we were working together, what challenges were you having, internal and tactical, and like what was the biggest needle mover for you to go to increase 7 grand in just a month?
I mean, I think I said this when we met. Like, I always know and will always believe that the tactical stuff is important. And, you know, God willing, in 6 months' time, in 12 months' time, I don't become complacent and think there's nothing to learn. There's always going to be things for me to learn in terms of tactical. But I was definitely in a belief rut. I had some personal limiting beliefs and some self-doubt and just certain things that I was taking to the call that I think my prospects were picking up on that wasn't enabling me to close as many deals as I should have been. And so I think you're right. I think the first few sessions that we had were purely like mindset, purely the beliefs that like you need to have as a high performer. And so yeah, that's like, you know, I know that sounds vague, but that's really what we focused on at the start. There's loads of tactical stuff that I'm employing for sure, but the biggest needle mover for me has been mindset, conviction, energy, these
I
sorts
agree.
of
And
things.
what were some mindset breakthroughs that you had?
I think one lesson that we went through was just having a really deeper understanding of the meaning behind what we do. If you're a person who sells with integrity, naturally you're going to sell on offers where you don't have to sacrifice that integrity. And so like somewhere in my head, I knew I was helping people, but there was a larger voice in my head that wasn't really aware of just how much I was helping people and how much was at stake on the calls. And you really helped me realize the consequences of someone doing something versus someone not doing something. And so like realizing that, it allowed me to approach my calls with a lot more conviction and a lot more urgency. And of course, like energy begets energy. So like the energy I was bringing onto the calls, I was now able to transfer that to my clients. And yeah, I feel like the clients picked up on the fact that, you know, this is a life-changing call. This isn't an information gathering call. This isn't a discovery call. This is potentially a life-changing call. And so I was able to close more deals than I was before.
That was huge. It's almost like you felt, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you tell me if it's right. You felt like you were kind of, sales was something you were doing to them, and like discovery is something you were doing to them, and objection handling, almost like manipulative versus I'm actually helping this person.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's the difference between staying in objections for 1 minute or 5 minutes and giving up, and sitting in objections for 30 minutes or 45 minutes because you know that you're doing good work.
And that's really important, man. I think a lot of times we spend so much on the tactical stuff. Like for someone who's listening right now and they're getting a lot of think about it, they're getting a lot of this isn't the right time, and they think they have an objection problem, like how would you tell them to look within before looking outwardly? Like what would you tell them?
You most likely have a belief problem. Like you believe that you agree with the prospect more than you'd like to believe. So like your mouth and the objection handling training that you've undergone, like you think that you don't believe what they're telling you, but ultimately you came onto the call believing that it's reasonable to think about it, or you came onto the call believing that it makes sense to hold on to cash, or that cash is this scarce asset that is more important than change. And so I think those beliefs, like you bring them onto the call, your prospect, you are an authority. Like you're always an authority. It's your call, and your prospect will be guided towards whatever you believe. And so if you believe believe that it makes sense to sleep on it for 24 hours, or if you believe that it makes sense to, you know, not spend a little money to get a lot more back, then your prospects ultimately you have no chance of, you know, overcoming those objections. So your objections
Exactly.
are their
That's
objections.
exactly what I was about to say. It's funny working with salespeople because in the discovery, a salesperson will say, "I get a lot to think about it," and then they'll say they want to think about it. Right? So it's funny how
Yeah.
that works, man. And you
Yeah.
just put it really well that your objections become their objections. So I'm glad we've been able to make progress there. And then when we look at the technical stuff, right? Like what do you think has been the biggest breakthroughs or needle movers as far as tactics?
So I personally think that the most important part of the sales call is identifying and breaking through limiting beliefs, so that whatever's held that person back in the past will hold them back in the future. I also think that the way that you need to see the discovery section of the sales call is I'm not trying to get this person to buy. I'm trying to get this person to be successful in whatever endeavor they undergo. Now, it just so happens that the person's already decided that this is the direction they want to go. But if you're so focused on like, can I get this person to buy from me right now today, you'll completely miss the fact that the person has probably tried this thousands of times before and failed. So the tactical stuff is understanding how to identify like what has stopped this person from achieving what they've told me they want to achieve in the past. How can I help them before I ever drop the price, before I ever ask for money, before I sign a contract? How can I help them overcome that so that when we do get to the point of saying, hey brother, hey sister, do you want to do this? They now feel like I'm going to be successful whatever I do. And you know, a byproduct of that is, well, why not do it with me? It's just such a logical next step to say yes to you and to continue with whatever you're recommending.
You have to fucking create the buyer, right? And speaking of creating the buyer, so for everyone listening, Zane's on 2 offers and he just jumped on the second one, and you're 2 for 2, right? Because of executing exactly what you're talking about. It sounds good in theory, but you executed it and you went 2 for 2. Like this concept, how were you able to take that to cause and you literally haven't heard an objection yet?
That's good. That's a good question.
Basically, what you were saying before we started shooting.
But it's a good question because I'm quite like this feels quite fresh to me. So there's no manipulation involved. We know that, the reason I wanted to work with Nick specifically is because I knew that I'd still get to hold on to the integrity that is so important to me, and I'd still want to be able to. I want to be able to help people. I knew that Nick had the same mindset. But ultimately, like the person's always has led them to the place that they are today. So whatever they've always done has led them to the place that they are today. So like understanding that my job is getting the person to move away from their always and into something totally new. So it's listening for language that's going to serve them. And if they bring language to the call that isn't going to serve them, like we can't really let that fly.
Literally creating it. Continue.
Yeah, for sure. So we're creating the type of person that takes action. We're creating the type of person that is successful. And it's a win-win because not only are you creating the type of person that says yes, takes action and moves forward, but what's even more powerful than that is you're creating the type of person that once they've moved forward, they go and take action in the program, in the court, in like whatever it is you're selling. This is relevant for pretty much all sales and all offers.
I agree. It's again creating the buyer, hearing what they're saying that's not serving them. Like if they kind of want to make more money, well then they're kind of going to want to move forward at the end, right? Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And last couple things here as we wrap up is, if you didn't, maybe the viewer, or if you did, you could speak from experience, did you have any limiting beliefs around investing into training and getting support? If you didn't, the person who maybe does, like, what would you say to them?
Well, yeah, so I did for a long time until we met. In fact, I don't even know if you know this, but a big part of wanting to work with you was that I ask prospects of action all day. I ask them to make a change. I ask them to invest in themselves. But it's been a year. I've had some great months. I've had some bad months. But since joining this space, like I've not done anything for me. I haven't been congruent. I haven't committed to my own development. So this is going to sound like a bit crazy, but there's a huge amount of benefit in just investing in yourself. Like just doing that will double your conviction because you'll now know that like I'm someone who is serious about my personal development, and therefore anybody I speak with, I can kind of like I can hold them to account because I'm willing to hold myself to account. So the limiting belief that I had for around a year was that I didn't need help and I didn't need to spend any money. I didn't need anyone to help me. And the moment before we spoke, I made the decision to get over that limiting belief and actually like go out and do something for me. And then the second after I'd done it, like I think the day after, before we'd even had a session, I felt better on course. And it's that simple.
Yeah, and it's I love that, bro, because it goes back to what you said earlier of being in alignment, right? Being in congruency, and like part of it is not giving the objection that you give, right? Which is where the congruence comes from. So I love that, and I'm proud of you, man. And we're gonna continue crushing it together. Any final words for anyone on the other side of the screen here that you would have liked to hear?
Well, I would have liked to hear. I would say energy is everything, and I would say before the tactical stuff, before the objection handles, before you get like really tied down in the skill set. The skill set is so important. Never like, please do not mistake my words here. But taking care of your energy and your mindset and your conviction is the biggest thing that you can do to improve your sales and to improve your day-to-day experience. And once you've got those things dialed in, then you've got a solid foundation to start adding skill set on top of that. And so that would be my biggest. It's a little bit vague, but if you're a closer, if you're in sales, you know what I'm talking about.
We're talking to 4 to 6 people every single day, and we do it all day. It's their first time having the experience, and so we're pretty much like we're having an energetic transmutation throughout the entire day. If your energy is shit, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're gonna give it to that person. They're not gonna know why, but for some reason, something didn't feel right about this call, and I'm not gonna move forward. And that's why. It wasn't because of the questions or the tactics. It's because of your energy that you gave them. So
yeah, and I'll add on to that real quick. Form a really strong relationship with your goals. That's one thing that you also helped me with. Like, we all make goals when we become closers. We all know what we want, and then I think we lose them over time. We start to chase goals that aren't really our goals, like conversion rate, commission in the bank and things like that. But continuously build your relationship with your goals. Know what your dream island is. Know what heaven looks like for you, and then work back until it becomes numbers. And that's something that you taught me, and I'm sure like you probably share this more on your YouTube and things like that, but that was another really big thing. Take the goal, turn it into numbers. What can I do every single day to feel like I'm actually chasing down that goal? And it just makes the day feel so much easier, so much more.
Yeah, you future pace yourself, right? Same thing. We have to put ourselves through a sales process. Like, you gotta future pace yourself.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
I appreciate you a lot. We're still working together, so we're probably gonna do another one of these soon when you're making 30. Everyone listening, appreciate you for tuning in. As always, I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.